Well, a very good afternoon. Welcome back to Oslo. These are the pictures of the very last 50 metres of the women's pursuit, arguably the best race of the season. Julie Simon furious that she made a tactical error in one way. Hanna took no prisoners, just squeezed her out on that final straight. Lou Jean-Monod winning the pursuit globe for the women's, having held off Suvi Minkkinen, who had a bad day, dropped down 2 places in the overall and lost her lead in the pursuit race as well. Her season unravelling a little bit in the closing stages. Maybe tomorrow she can do something. Men's race still to come. The pursuit, 12.5k the distance, so 5 times round the 2.5k loop, and it's going to be ankle deep at the least by the time they hit lap 5.
Yes, fatigue playing a massive part as well, Patrick, and then combine that with the most difficult, aggressive ski conditions. They'll be tired tomorrow.
Well, let's have a look at the programme for the rest of the weekend. The men's pursuit due off in about 15 minutes' time. Mass start will be on air at 12:30, 12:45 start time for the last race of the season for the women, and the men producing the finale this year, but they pay a price because they will have done 3 successive days of racing. I think I'd probably rather do the first race on each day and get an extra day of rest in between.
Oh, I agree. This time of year, rest is everything, but 3 consecutive days, same for all. But it's certainly a tough ending to the season, and they have time to recover, obviously, after tomorrow's race.
Well, it is a packed house here. Let's just have a look at the highlights of the men's sprint. At stake was obviously the win and a good start in today's pursuit, but also the battle for the sprint title. And Laegreid, who started down in 4th position, produced a stunning performance, and he missed the target, but he was skiing exceptionally well. His 4th winner in a row, another 90 points, and he put himself level with Seb Samuelsson.
I felt actually a bit heavy in the legs, so I thought I will just do my best. If I don't end on the podium, it's still happy to be here in Holmenkollen, my home place. But then to fight for the win and also to take the sprint globe, it's incredible.
Well, he got the globe on the back of the fact that he'd got on count back he had done better than Seb Samuelsson. Emilien Jacquelin, Mike, not a good performance by him, a miss in the stand which cost him the win.
It does, but he always makes everything look so easy, doesn't he? The way he skis, the way he attacks the targets, very much on form.
Is today going to be his day? Plenty of podium finishes this year for Jacquelin.
Ouais, quand il vient me féliciter à la fin de la course, je sais pas s'il se fout de moi ou si vraiment il me félicite. Mais c'est vrai que c'est la 4e fois, je crois.
Yeah, he's saying that's the 4th time in just a couple of weeks that he's ended up just behind Laegreid. So he's got to find a way to beat the Norwegian, maybe one of the last 2 races. That will happen. Eric Perrot has been Mr. Consistent this year. It's been an excellent season for him. Perrot with 4 wins, 9 podium finishes, 17 top 10 finishes. And those are the sort of stats that bring you the overall World Cup. He can enjoy the last 2 days. The hard job is done. He's got the overall globe. And now it's just a question of trying to sweep up the rest.
J'ai vécu des tellement grands moments entre ce
says he's been dreaming of
j'en rêve depuis des années, c'est une consécration en tant que
taking the overall globe since he was a kid, inspired by in particularly Raphael Poiret, who was a massive star when Eric was a youngster, and it's finally arrived. He's joined some big names. Poiret, of course, Martin Fourcade, Quentin Fillon-Maillet, who has also won the overall title. That happened back in 2022, but yesterday was really Laegreid's day. Not only did he win the sprint, he won the Silver Globe, the Sprint Globe as well. And today, Mike, he's going for 5 wins in a row.
It's quite amazing. Laegreid, had he had this sharp form all season, he certainly would have challenged Eric Perrot for the overall. but he had a poor start to his season, came alive at the Olympics.
Yeah, well, if he wins today, he will have won more races in 2 weeks than Perrot has won in the whole season.
And you know what, the way that Laegreid, it's his home range, he said that in one of his interviews, he loves this range, and he's got such good discipline right now that I can't really see him having a bad day. That means hitting 18 or more targets.
Yeah, in terms of victories this year, what have we had? 6 pursuits on the World Cup already. The last one being last weekend in Oeberg and the Olympic Games. Only 2 of those, Mike, so that's 7 pursuits in all. Only 2 have been won with the perfect score. 3 have been won with 19 hits out of 20, which is probably what we expect. But bizarrely, Jacquemelle won in Oeberg with 14 hits, 6 misses.
That is incredible, and largely down to, wasn't it, the big names all missing targets. Last time in, he got an opportunity.
There you see the points for the pursuit standings, and Perrot has a decent lead, 23 points, the gap over Seb Samuelsson. Jacquemelle not racing, of course, after his medical issues at the Olympic Games. Real shame, but he'll come back strong next year. I don't have any doubt about that. His cardiac, his heart problems, not really that uncommon. 15% of athletes, generally 15% of endurance athletes suffer from some form of fibrillation, atrial fibrillation as it's known, or SVT. Well, we've still got a few minutes to go. Let's have a look and see what else is coming up on Eurosport over the day. We've got Harlequins and Gloucester in the Prem, as well as Northampton, Newcastle. Yeah, plenty of action there. And then the Brazilian Grand Prix, if you're a MotoGP fan, and that is at 5:45 this evening. Where's your money, Mike? The crowd, the crowd have got an app. There's always an app to vote for their favourite, and slightly surprisingly, Vetle Sjostad Christiansen of Norway has come out on top of the rankings. Have you got the same feeling as the crowd here in Oslo?
Well, you know, the Oslo spectator crowd, they're very knowledgeable, and it's hard to disagree with him. With 28 seconds, that's all he's got to find, which is, what, 1 penalty loop. If he hits all 20, he could win. But no, I'm going for Eric Perrot or Laegreid today, with a sprinkling of Fillon Maillet, although he's 1 minute 12 behind.
So you've gone for the short odds.
They're in such good form.
Yeah, let's have an outsider.
Outsider, well, from so far back, 14, Fillon Maillet, but he is recognised as the best pursuiter, having won 10. So let's go further back. Nicholas Hardveg, 18, at last showing some of his potential he showed 2 years ago as an outsider for a top 6.
Well, number 4 in your picture, the Olympic champion, Ponsiluoma of Sweden. He's got a bit of work to do if he's going to win this one. Starts number 4, and he will be, what? Oh, he's only 19 seconds behind, so definitely a potential. But the women's Olympic champion didn't manage to win this morning. Vitozzi having a bit of a nightmare on the range, 5 misses in all, but actually recovered pretty well, I thought, Mike.
Yeah, very much. And often when Hanna Oeberg wins, she's the partner of Ponsiluoma. They do often inspire each other to success. And he certainly had a great ski speed, missing 2 targets to finish 19 seconds behind. He's certainly got the ski time.
Yeah, fatigue playing a large part at this stage of the season. That's 3 successive weeks, Kontiolahti, Oeberg and Oslo. So not only the racing, but there's much more travelling as well, and that takes it out of them. And getting over the all their Olympic efforts. So the last month and a half has been a big ask. This is Botten of Norway, who led the World Cup early on in the season. there's one man, Mike, that I think will probably reconsider his shooting, not his technique, but his strategy.
It's strange, isn't it? It worked early season. He finished, he had 2/3 and a victory in the pursuit, you know, very much on form. And his steady, careful shooting paid off then. But he was skiing, what, 20 seconds, 30 seconds faster back then. He won't get away with it today, shooting that slow.
Philipp Norath, best of the Germans on the tour this year. No Germans in the top 10 of the World Cup rankings. That's not good news for them. What was it, 2017, the last time they won the Nations Cup, and 2006. Well, the fans are out on the big hill that leads into the stadium. The stands are full. The King was here this morning. I haven't seen him this afternoon. Has he had a half day?
No, he's committed. He loves this biathlon. It's not easy, Patrick, at 437 meters in really deep, aggressive, heavy snow. This is a huge task before the must start tomorrow, over 15 kilometers.
Yeah, 12.5k. They're climbing almost half a Munro, for those of you who've bashed the hills up in Scotland at any stage. Temperature a little bit warmer. It was 2 degrees this morning, up to 5 now. And luckily that the sun hasn't quite got the heat in it that it had yesterday afternoon. So I think the tracks will be okay. It is essentially the same for everyone, isn't it?
It's the same, it is, because they're starting only within, what, 2 minutes 42 seconds. I did notice in zeroing again, the sun was coming in their left eye, and then, of course, when they race, it'll be shaded from the sun spins round to the left, has a small factor.
So what are you going on, the principle of sun up, sights up, or is it a different sort of approach when it comes in the side of the blinder?
Slightly different, because it really closes your pupil down when it's that bright in from the side. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Rihard Losbers, keep an eye on him. 17 today. That is fantastic. What a performance in the sprint yesterday. And if he can improve his position, I think that would be a massive confidence booster. Latvians certainly very, very excited about his prospects. Andrei Rastoguyev can't be far off retirement. He's been going forever. 36 years old, still quick, still shooting well. Braunhofer of Italy. I think I read out his ranking rather than his age. You were just going to let it go, weren't you, Mike?
I was looking at my notes. I wasn't with you at that point. Maxime Germain, I thought he would have a good day yesterday. He didn't, but at 2:30 behind, it's going to be tough to make a top 25 today for the American.
We are nearly ready to go. The penultimate race of the men's season. They have to come back in less than 24 hours. There's the champion for 2026. Perrot has done it. And yeah, certainly well deserved. Emilien Jacquelin, the entertainer, the maverick. He is an absolute master. Let's hope that he can hit the targets today. Laegreid going for a little bit of personal history, trying to make it 5 wins in a row. What a couple of weeks he's had since the Olympic Games. Remember, he got 5 medals at the Olympics. None of them gold, but 5 medals, well deserved. Christiansen there, number 5. Number 10, that's Krishmarsh of Czechia, equaled his PB for the season in the sprint yesterday. And as we go further back, who's going to be the biggest climber today? Might generally go to the back. I'm going for Jesper Nellin.
He does like these races. I'll go for Maxime Germain, the American.
Last few seconds. Perrot, Nuna on the gun, and away goes Sturla Holm Laegreid. Remember, the time gap is determined by their time that they finished, and of course the position that they finished in the sprint event. So Laegreid is away. Jacquelin Twice he finished second in the sprints, the pursuits this year. Not won one so far. Eric Perrot goes 3. Ponsaloma is 4. Christiansen starting at 28 seconds. So 9 seconds down on Ponsaloma. And then Johan Olaf Botten of Norway starts number 6. Samuelsson waiting to go. Lucky number 7. Lost the sprint title yesterday. Can he make up for it today? Norath is 8. Fry of Norway starting number 9. Confirmed as the under-23 champion for this season. And if he has a good race today, he could break into the top 15 in the World Cup standings and get a free ticket for next year's races. Chris Marsh is 10. Campbell Wright, who's got to shoot better in the stand, starts number 11, ahead of Philip Horn, the 31-year-old from Oberhof on the right of your screen. He's away. His teammate Sturla is chasing him. And then Canton Filmaye, 1 minute 12 to make up. If there's one athlete who's capable of that, it is him.
Yes, he's had 10 victories in his career, 23 podiums for Filmaye. This is his favourite event.
Dali Shevdal starting 19, didn't like the soft conditions yesterday. We suggested that. Martin Uldal starting at exactly the same time, but a little bit quicker out of the blocks. And Uldal gets ahead in that battle. Rihar Losbers is away, the 17-year-old, the youngest man in the field, birthday today. And if he could move into the top 15, that would be sensational. Well, it didn't take long for that 5 seconds to close down. Laegreid setting the pace, Jacquelin tucking in behind, and then Eric Perrot, who has already got 3 globes in his bag and will be hoping to secure another one today.
It's tough up this first climb, Patrick. 900 metres track distance. It's all climbing. And I thought that Laegreid went out full pace. But how did they manage to pull back 4 and 5 seconds? It looks like it was quite easy for them. But Laegreid on form, this pace is really firm.
Now, the tracks, Mike, look a whole lot better than they did this morning. I know they didn't use this section, but it looks so much better up here.
Yes, so many workers and support staff that have been dragging the top layer of snow off, scooping off all the very wet snow, trying to find the harder snow down the bottom. They've done a great job.
Ponsaloma was at 19, so he's gained on the leaders as well. Christiansen started at 28. He goes through at 25. Samuelsson was at 31, so he's gained a little bit. Actually, he was 35, so he has gained well, and Norath gaining. So Laegreid taking it relatively easy over the first lap, and why not?
Well, I was surprised. Just the manner in which he started, it looked very aggressive, but yeah, quickly been absorbed. This is the fastest man on the track at the moment. He's pulled back, some 7 seconds on Laegreid. You really do have to think about pacing, Patrick. 5 times around this 2.5. The first time it hurts. If you attack it too hard, it really hurts on laps, well, especially 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, the total climb, what was it, 450?
437.
437. That's the total climb rather than the climb on each 2.5k loop. That would be brutal. Now, this is the final climb that leads them round the back of the hill and into the stadium. So many races over the years, whether it be biathlon or cross country, decided on this particular climb, Mike. We've had some epic battles. The club, of course, has been involved in through Petter Northug, probably the most memorable.
It is, and this is where Hanna Oeberg made her break. It wasn't a decisive break. Simon Polderin later, somewhat 400 metres later. And you can see the work, the support staff, the helpers here, they've dragged off all the wet snow, made it so much firmer, at least lap 1 firmer.
Yes, it will deteriorate. And, you know, we suggested that Dali Shevdal would struggle yesterday. Christiansen's also a big man, which is one of the reasons that I wouldn't have put him at the top of my list of favourites, Mike. I think it really suits the lighter skier. And even Elvira Oeberg was saying, you know, her style, which is all power, is not suited to these soft conditions.
That's interesting. I totally agree with you. Christiansen, what is he, 85, 86 kilos? Not his favourite conditions, but he did ski very well yesterday.
Yeah, Perrot probably the lightest of the leading 3. And in they come. Now we should get their shooting scores in the prone position. There you go. 96 for Laegreid, 90 for Perrot, 89 for Jacquelin. Who is going to strike first? Well, it would have, I was going to say Jacquelin, but he took so long hooking into his cuff.
It's unlike him. He'd had issue there hooking up, couldn't get it in, but now it'll be fast.
Well, he's still got it down at the same time as Laegreid. Pretty well synchronized at the moment. All 15 going clear. Now, what's happened to Jacquelin?
What happened there?
He's counting his rounds again.
I hope we see a replay of that. Why did he hesitate? Maybe he ejected. He recocks so fast that sometimes he ejects the next round in that process. Maybe that's what happened there.
Well, we're down to a very small group, and the crowd's favourite has already gone and missed his first target. So that's a bad start for Christensen, and he's missed number 3. But don't worry, Hanna Oeberg. Did Hanna Oeberg miss 3 this morning? I think she did miss 2 on the first shoot.
And yes, she did.
She missed a total of 3. I think 2 of them went wide on the first shoot.
That's so out of character for Christensen. Maybe the pace that he tried to attack the first lap has cost him. There's the penalty loop, turn right, twice around, 150-metre penalty loop.
Well, at the start of the race, we had 19 seconds separating the top 4. That's down to 16. Botten has lost a bit of ground. He's lost 6 seconds from 31 to 37. And Philip Norath, who started number 8, up to 6 at 41. So he's lost a few seconds, but gained a couple of places.
I'm just thinking, Patrick, the stadium announcer did say that when Christensen was zeroing and the camera was on his face saying that, well, Christensen, the spectators' favourite to win this one, he would have heard that. And I wonder if that put him off first time in. Very much out of character. 2 missed, 2 out of 5 prone.
Yeah, at this level, I think you've got to be able to put that behind you and just ignore it. Luki Hoffer has gone 5 with 5. Vidmar of Slovenia has done the same. Finello. Really haven't seen much. The Swiss were big in the news last year, Mike, because of the World Championships in Lenzerheide, but we haven't really seen anything spectacular from them this year.
No, on the women's side, much better than on the men's side, but hopefully Hartwig today can put his magic into his game.
Yeah, I agree. Berserger's been good, but Haki Gross has been well below par. Good shooting from Laegreid. Now, no rush from Perrot, but still slightly perplexed as to what happened with Jacquelin, why he took so long to get shot number 5 away. But it doesn't matter, Mike. He's back in touch.
He is quite amazing. He takes the pain, doesn't he? Makes a mistake. Well, it didn't work out last Sunday for him when he used 4 spare rounds in a relay, but generally he can put. And, you know, when he's on form, he's just great to watch. Lovely flowing technique.
But that's 6 seconds he's pulled back between the lowest part of the course and the highest. I'm going to be bold and say that if it comes to a sprint on the last loop, he will lose it.
If he stays with it, you know, I think they might break him with those 2 first, you know, this first 900 metres from the range. It's a real test. And twice he's taken 5-6 seconds out of Laegreid on this climb alone.
Well, it's looking very good for Perrot at the moment. He's up in second place. Oh, he's actually gone into the lead. And Perrot, of course, leads the Pursuit World Cup standings. He's got 23 points advantage over Seb Samuelsson. And Samuelsson at the moment is down in 7th. He's already a minute behind the leaders.
Big surprise. Phil Maillet, the best on paper. He's at 23 podiums in this race. From 14th to 25th, 2 penalties first time in. Fratcher
has done okay. He's gained 10 places on the first shoot. Who did I have my money on? Nellin has gone from 51 to 48, so at least he's going the right way. Jermaine Mike, who you pointed out, 53 to 43, so a good start for the American. Still at 2.5 minutes behind, though. Losbers, the 17-year-old birthday boy, 21 to 36. It did not go well. 2 misses on that first shoot, his first ever World Cup pursuit race.
What a shame, you know, and sometimes something new, something different, a different pressure maybe for him today, and it's his birthday. And a year ago today, his first ever World Cup race. I remember saying at the time, is that not a bit early to be putting a youngster into World Cup racing? First time ever in the men's field that's happened.
30 athletes shooting 5 out of 5 on the first shoot, which is a good result. Generally around 50% go clear on the first shoot. Should have 15 to 16 athletes clear on the second, and hopefully we'll have a 3, 4, maybe even a 5-way fight when it comes to the last shoot. That last shoot this morning, Mike, you couldn't have scripted it better. The two leaders missing one and allowing Elvira Oeberg to get back in the chase for the win.
And you know, often in the pursuit, the leaders feel or make mistakes, the chasers less so, there's less to lose, and it's that little dimension of pressure.
Jacquelin gaining ground on the downhill, I think just eased up on Helmnabakken, the big climb that leads them into the stadium. Now, an answer after this shoot, Mike, the best crowd of the season. Let's just focus on this second prone shoot first. Now, Jacquelin again slow to get himself into position, but he won't hang around. Here we go, second prone.
Laegreid had a slight change at the sides, probably 3 millimeters, 1 click left.
Certainly the wind has picked up a little bit from the left. There's the first red flash from the leading three. And Jacquelin has a penalty loop to do. Perrot and Laegreid are going to get a bit more free snow this time round as they come out. And Jacquelin has the chasing to do. You can only chase once or twice in a game, and then your day is done. Perrot at 12-11, two of the best biathletes in the world. Last year's World Cup champion versus this year's World Cup champion. You could not want a better scenario.
Just watching Botten there, he takes more time getting down into position, more time into the first shot as well.
.22 seconds. Jacquelin probably taking 23.5, 24 to get round the loop. He had a slight advantage over Perrot when he came out of the range area. So Botten, I think the fans would like to see him do well. He made a big name for himself at the start of the season, Mike. Do you think he was winning because everyone else was missing targets, being early season?
It was, you know, he had an absolute strategy. He didn't care that he was taking 37 seconds stop-start. His whole mindset was, I need to be hitting my targets, and it was a good discipline, and it gave him the yellow bib into Christmas.
Ponsaloma out in 5, 102. The gaps are massive. Those leading two doing a lot of damage. Samuelsson has missed again. His chance of winning the Pursuit World Cup for 2026 is vanishing very, very quickly. Botten with Dali Shevdal with 5, Fry, Strello, Manzan, the young Ukrainian, shooting 5 as well. Second place in the under-23 World Cup standings, and Luki Hoffa taking quite a long time over the first couple of shots, but I suspect he'll clear 5 and keep himself in the running for a top 10.
Campbell Wright looking much better. He hasn't really moved up in terms of time, but positions 11 to 6, that must be a good field.
Yeah, standing shooting's been his issue over the last couple of weeks, Mike. 87% prone, 79% stand.
Yes, you know, he was a very firm, disciplined stand shooter, but when you lose your way, sometimes it's hard to bring it back in.
In the individual races, since the beginning of the Olympic Games, I think Laegreid has only missed, is it 4 or 5 shots, Mike?
It was incredible. I had the stats last weekend. He's added, I think it's only 5 shots.
5 shots since the start of the Olympic Games. The individual sprint pursuit, 4 individual races at the Games, and then an individual and a mass start in Kontiolahti. sprint and the pursuit in Oeberg. And then, of course, he did miss one in the sprint the other day. Jacquelin, 23.38. He's still only one penalty loop behind the two leaders. And as we saw this morning, the leaders can miss targets in the latter stages of a race like this.
I don't know if you saw the first lap times. It was Finello from Switzerland fastest time, but Jacquelin was only 1.6 behind. And then the second lap, Jacquelin the fastest by 3 seconds. So Jacquelin really pushing the hardest out there right now.
Botten, 2 laps, 2 loops, penalty loops behind the leaders. So Perrot and Laegreid would have to miss 2 of the standing shots. 10 shots still to be fired.
A lot of the coaches, Patrick, because it's so warm, they're giving drinks out there at the crest of this hill. You can hardly breathe when you get to the top of that hill. You can hardly take in any fluid at all.
Oof, Perrot was close to going down there. Did well to recover. He's a beautiful technician on his skis. And that's played a part to gain him the yellow bib this year. Certainly pays off wearing the yellow bib every race for the season.
And I think Perrot, you know, with his mum, with his mother being Norwegian and a junior world champion in biathlon, he spent a lot of time up here in the clubs of Norway. And I think he skis more like a Norwegian than he does, well, the French. Everyone's kind of close now, but you can tell different nations the way they ski.
Yeah, certainly after Raphael Poiret, all the French skied like him. Quentin Fillon-Maillet in his early stages. Jacquelin, I think he has his own technique, doesn't he?
He's very upright, isn't he? But it works.
Wide legs, wide arms.
Yep. And he's got the amazing leg strength from his background in cycling, and you need that kind of amazing leg strength.
Yeah, I love the timing. Botten here, he's a powerhouse, very, very strong lower body. Would suspect that he's pretty handy on a bike. Yeah, a lot of cycling teams trying to get Clabo to switch from cross-country skiing to cycling. Why would he? Why would he?
He'd probably still be great in terms of cycling, but I know he does some big long rides in the summer, you know, some 7 or 8 hour rides, which is pretty intense.
In they come for chute number 3. The snow getting deeper and deeper. They have to be careful. If it comes to a sprint finish, it's going to require a different sort of skiing. You have to lift the foot 2 or 3 inches higher than normal. 1 lapse in concentration could prove very costly, as it could do here in the first of 2 standing chutes. Laegreid with 87% hit rate this year. Perrot exactly the same. Perrot just shooting that little bit quicker. He's going to gain himself a lead. Is it going to be 5 seconds or is it going to be 25? No, Laegreid makes sure 5 out of 5, and he's still in the race, but he's got a bit of chasing to do, and that could be painful on this penultimate lap.
Well, I didn't really expect that. Laegreid has been pretty good in terms of his shooting speed. There again, 4.8 seconds.
Yeah, he wants to get back in touch, Mike. I think next time we see him, he will be right on the heels of Perrot. Jacquelin makes sure this time round he'll be furious with himself, missing that 1 shot in the prone position. But he's kept Botten away. Botten is going to come out in 4th if he hits 5. There's an opportunity for Ponsiluoma of Sweden. Ponsiluoma only 76% hit rate, but he has been shooting a bit better at the end of the season. That's added to it. 5 out of 5. He's going up into 4th place and maybe can put some pressure on that leading group of 3.
That was impressive. It's great to see Ponsiluoma finding rhythm and timing. You know, he's definitely coming onto the target from below and entirely reacting as soon as he sees the black in his sights.
Well, let's see how much time Botten has lost. Coming in for that 3rd chute, he was at 50 seconds. He's now at 120, so lost a full 30 seconds. 25 on the penalty loop, 5 seconds on the range.
Campbell Wright's gone clear in his first stand. That's good news. That should build some confidence.
Yeah, Christiansen did the same, but Christiansen missing targets on his first shoot. He missed 2 on the first shoot and has never featured with the leaders since then. The fans enjoying this one, Mike. You know, a tight a close fight at the front, so much more entertaining than a runaway victory, even if it was one of their favourites.
So true, and we don't often see so many spectators outside the stadium, but so many come onto the hill today to support their favourite athletes.
Now, is Laegreid going to be forced to shoot a little bit faster on the final shoot?
Just looking at lap time again, Patrick, lap 3 or course time 3, it's Finello again at the top, Laegreid second, but this time Jacquelin 9 seconds behind, having been fastest, third fastest. That's quite a drop off in terms of his energy, I reckon, in terms of his ski pace.
Simon Fourcade, what a job he's done with the French team, highly criticised in the early stages of his tenure, but yeah, really impressed. He stuck to his guns, he had faith in his ideas, and France are certainly the better for his presence.
You're so right. And you know, it's tough for an ex-athlete as young as Simon Fourcade was. He had been an athlete with some of the athletes, and it's always quite tough being the head coach when you've been a teammate with these athletes. But yes, he absolutely has pulled it off well.
Is anyone else going to get a look in? Now, we're almost exactly the same situation as the women's race, Mike. We had Lou Jean-Monod and Hanna Oeberg out front. Oh, no, sorry, Julie Simon and Hanna Oeberg out front. They were separated by less than a second. And then Elvira Oeberg, who was at 24 seconds. And we said just before the final shoot, if the two leaders miss one apiece and Elvira hits 5, they're coming out together. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened.
And that could be the case with Jacquelin. He's 24 behind right now, and if he gets 5 and the lead 2 miss 1, they're in danger.
Maxim Fomin of Lithuania, his time is short-lived out on the course. He'll be taken off as soon as these two leaders catch him, and you can see the contrast in power and cadence and speed and determination as they climb up to the top of this hill for the penultimate time. They'll be thinking not only about the shoot, but also what are the tactics going to be on the final lap should they come out of the range together. And is he gaining? He is. He's gained another second, and that could be crucial.
Yep, that's about the time for a penalty loop, and Jacquelin probably will take 2 or 3 seconds out of Perrot and maybe 5 seconds out of Laegreid in terms of shooting speed.
Yeah, well, Jacquelin's got over 30 seconds between himself and 4th place, Mike, so he can go for broke on the shoot. We could be looking at a 16-second shoot. We saw some sensational shooting from him at the Olympic Games. What was it, a 16.8 second shoot?
It was quite unbelievable, especially at an Olympic Games. Never seen that before.
Well, Laegreid will certainly have his fans here in his home stadium. Perrot will not be short. There are plenty of French here, but there are plenty of Norwegians that know the Norwegian side of his family. And, oof. Again, a little stumble, just what I was talking about before. You have to be so careful. There is no room for relaxation. Final shoot. Is anyone going to look down the range? Laegreid fills the lungs for the last time. The flag's still fluttering. It's been fairly consistent. Gentle breeze from the left to the right. Shouldn't be a problem. They're both on exactly the same hit rate for the season. Perrot again gets one shot ahead. That could be key. He's on 4. Down goes number 5. It's a similar situation to the last lap, and Laegreid needs this. He can't afford a delay, so he stays in the race again. And here we go. And Perrot just looking over to his right. I don't know what he would gain from the screen, Mike, because he certainly wouldn't have seen that Laegreid had hit 5.
Yeah, I can't think what that is. Laegreid's got work to do, and he's going to try and do it early, which is probably a good strategy.
Well, Laegreid knows this stadium a little bit better, and he's already cleared it. There's the miss from Jacquelin. So now, the reason that Jean-Pierre Ormot is laughing must be, we didn't see the shoot, but it must be that he's done it in about 15 seconds. So, Mike, that's your job. Find out exactly how long Jacquelin took to shoot those 5.
Right, yeah, it was very fast. It was 20.6 for his shoot 4. I thought it would be faster. He probably took longer to set up, and then 1 second between each shot.
That could be the first mistake from Laegreid. He's gone ahead of Perrot, and they've still got a lot of climbing to go. Out comes Jacquelin from 24. He's now at 51. The game is over in terms of finishing in the top 2, but it's another podium finish coming his way. What a brilliant season it's been for Jacquelin. Bottom, it's been a lonely old race for him. Well, that's the way to shut the door on the athletes just arriving at the range. So it's really about 1 and 2, Mike.
They have been amazing, and you know, since the Olympic Games, both Perrot and Laegreid, I don't think we've ever seen, or my time, you know, many years in biathlon, seen 2 athletes on such incredible shooting form and ski form, you know, over a 3-week racing period. It's incredible what they've achieved since the Olympics. Campbell Wright missed 2. He was having a great game until that point.
Yeah, that will keep him out of challenging the top 5. All the shooting completed now. 6 men are through the range for the last time. Perrot and Laegreid with 20 hits out of 20. It has been a perfect race for both of them so far, but one of them's got to win, and it's going to be won on tactics today. I think they're pretty evenly matched in terms of speed and fitness. And what does it come down to, Mike? A question of who knows the finish best or who wants it more?
I think it's who wants it more, and for me that's Eric Perrot. He said yesterday he would have a great race today. He's been absolutely flawless, and I think Eric could take Laegreid on in the final 200 meters.
Yeah, and Laegreid only started today 16 points behind Seb Samuelsson in the overall standing. So Laegreid he's climbed about 3 rungs every race for the last 2 weeks, and he's going to finish in runners-up position if it keeps going like this. Of course, there is still one more race tomorrow, but the way the things are at the moment, he will be moving into 2nd place. Perrot, with the yellow bib, is the champion for 2026. So we're looking at 1 and 2 in the world as they come into the last few meters. They've still got a big climb to go under the road bridge, then they break to the left, disappear outside the stadium, down to the bottom of Helnebacken, and then it is all hard work from there. And I'm slightly surprised that Laegreid has set the pace at this stage.
Yeah, me too, and I think Eric is happy hunting in 2nd place, because I'm quite sure in the Northug step up behind the range, I'm quite sure that's where Eric Perrot will make his big move.
So is Perrot going to get his first individual victory since race number 15, which was the men's individual race in Kontiolahti? Of course, Perrot won the races prior to the Olympics as well, didn't he, in Novo Miesto? So he had 3 World Cup wins in a row, and he would love to finish the season off with another one. Well, this is exactly where Hanna Oeberg of Sweden decided to push the accelerator, and it almost cost her. Laegreid a little bit scrappy, just having to lift those skis a little bit higher, keep the tips out of the way, and it's Laegreid who gains the advantage. But Perrot will be able to tuck in and feed off him on the downhill. The Northug step still to come. That is the next critical section on this course. Nothing really gained by either athlete with all that effort.
With that turn of pace, Patrick, the lactic acid is boiling in both of their legs. Heart and lungs are on absolute maximum. Without a doubt, they've gone over into big lactic boil. Now they have a little moment of recovery, or at least to get your breathing under control.
I would not be surprised if we saw a stumble in the last 600 meters.
Yep.
The Conditions so tricky. They're safely around that left-hand bend that put pay to Jean Monod's chances of winning the overall World Cup last year. Now it's Perrot who has a slight advantage coming to the bottom of the step. Can he use this extra speed? It's only marginal, but he is going a little bit quicker than Laegreid, who looks to his right, trying to track the Frenchman as they approach the base of the hill. France watching on, Norway watching on. Who's going to get this victory? It was Sweden this morning who got it, and I wonder whether they'll use the same tactics that we saw from Hanna Oeberg.
Oh, amazing. I'm so impressed with Laegreid. He's been on the limit since he left the range, but Eric is there and ready to pounce.
Laegreid, remember, looking for his 5th World Cup victory in succession. He looks slightly more relaxed than Perrot. There's a downhill section that again plays into the hands of the man in the red and yellow bib, the World Cup winner from this year. Perrot will look for his opportunity. He goes to the left, which is a good move. Doesn't want to get squeezed out like we saw from Julius. Here we go, last 60 metres, and it's Laegreid who stands tall first. He's still got some power in the leg, but Perrot's coming back. The lunge for the line and a photo finish. Can you believe it? I think Laegreid has got it by a toenail, but if it is a toenail, it's a very small one. How about that? Great timing with a lunge from Perrot, but he just needed an extra inch or two. 2 sensational finishes here in Oslo. They have been spoilt rotten. 2 of the best races of the year. And extraordinary, Mike. Last year's champion up against this year's champion. And it's last year's that comes out on top. Another 90 points. And he's up into 2nd place in the overall standings.
It's amazing, the intensity of the race, Patrick, and to hit 20 out of 20. There won't be many to have achieved that score today, maybe another 3. Quite outstanding, both of them in amazing form.
Yeah. Wow, another 3 hours of stretching in the gym, and Perrot might have got that.
I mean, it was Laegreid worked for his advantage to lead into soft snow, you know, the final 200 metres. In the end, it wasn't a slight advantage to Laegreid, but Eric thought he had him.
I think it's time they expanded the stands here, Mike, in the Holmenkollen Stadium. Compare it to Nova Mesto, where we had 24,500 fans. There are plenty out on the tracks here in Oslo. It's been a great atmosphere, but you just could have done with those 24,500 to enjoy what quite possibly was the best race of the year.
The fact that 3rd place is way back 51 seconds behind, and it's Jacqueline and then Ponsaloma with such ski speed as 1:25. These 2 are in incredible form.
The Olympic champion down in 4th. Well, perhaps the most incredible thing is that they're fully recovered already. 30 minutes of all-out effort. Laegreid had a slim lead at the beginning of 4 seconds. He had less than 0.4 of a second to spare at the end. They're given exactly the same time. That's the first time that has happened this year. Jacqueline at 1:11, blown away. Just too many mistakes on the rage. And Fry, Mike, in with a top 10. Not his best of the season. He's had a 3rd and a 4th. But that just confirms his domination as the best of the under-23 athletes. Hartweg, great to see the Swiss come back. Hartweg's had a good run. Strello, the best shot in the German team in 9th. Paterel of France in 10. Fabien Claude just ahead of Samuelson, and Campbell Wright 2:44. What was it, 2 misses on the last shoot, Mike? I think he would have been at about, he would have been challenging for a top 5 place.
Definitely, he needed those last 2, and his stand has been his weaker point lately. Fillon-Maillet in the end, it wasn't his best day, but it's still a decent performance from 14th, well, dropping to 19th. Missing 3.
Yeah, our tips for the biggest gainers haven't quite worked out today. Germain's gone 53 to 47, so 6 places. Nellin 51 to 40. If he holds on to that coming over the last few positions. Who has done well? Dolly Shevdal 19 to 16. Paterel, Mike, 32 to 10. And coming from outside the top 30 to break into the top 10 is a really good effort.
And, you know, his second ever World Cup start, Perrot. He didn't feel great yesterday, he said. He said he felt the nerves, but today he's back into his flow, and he hit 20 out of 20.
Yeah, Losba's down in 28, the birthday boy from Latvia. He was outside the top 35, so he's actually done well on the second half of the race. He missed 2 on his very first shoot, ended up with 17 hits out of 20 and 346. Samuelsson, yeah, missing. He's got to have a brilliant race tomorrow to try and get back up into the top 2. Samuelsson's season going the same way as we saw for Suvi Minkkinen of Finland this morning and 2 days ago in the sprint. Just running out of juice. I'm not sure top 3 results have ever been so important at the end of the season, Mike. You cannot afford a single miss.
And the standards, you know, we've never seen 2 athletes who have, well, Perrot completed nearly all of the races, still putting the 100% hit rate in under such intensity.
I've got 5 athletes with the perfect shooting score. 3 of them are French. Claude Paterel and Eric Perrot, of course, who was involved in that duel at the front.
And Laegreid, remember last year on this day, of course, Laegreid started, 25 seconds behind the great Johannes Tingesbo, and it was important for the overall World Cup. And Laegreid again on that day, showing his superior shooting skills, won the race. Johannes Tingesbo in second.
Yeah, and I think you have to give him extra credit for the fact that he was 2 shots behind Perrot in both of the stand shoots, Mike. Most people they'd be well aware, 100% aware, that the opposition had hit 5, and he's still got 2 targets to hit to stay in the race. How on earth does he control the mental side of it in that situation?
Not many can, Patrick. Over the years, we've seen, yeah, as you clearly say, the athlete ahead of you shooting faster. Then you're left with 2 standing. The pressure mounts each millisecond. And Laegreid's built this brilliant mindset to entirely focus in on himself, not even caring about anything left or right positions. He's just entirely on the mission to hit targets.
Yeah, not many more to finish. Unusually, we've got 4 athletes have been lapped. 2 of them didn't start because they were way down the starting order. So I think after number 49, which is America's Paul Skoma, we've only got 1 more man to come across the line, and then we are done. Is it Elias Seidel of Germany? It is.
It is.
6:53 the margin. Not an indication that he's had a bad race, really an indication the 2 at the front were world class, and they were worlds apart from everyone else. Quite brilliant. Well, there you have it, 20 out of 20 for 1 and 2 today. It doesn't happen very often. 30:31 the winning time. Jacquelin, 2 misses, 1 on the second prone, 1 on the second stand, and he was forced out of the running. 1:11 the margin. Ponsaloma, the Olympic champion, down in 4th. It's been a good season for Ponsaloma. I don't think he's got anything to grumble about. Samuelsson, 12th place, lost a lot of points in the overall World Cup. He was runner-up at the start of today, so he's missed his chance of winning the pursuit title, and he could well miss his chance of finishing in the top 3 of the World Cup. That would be expensive. A drop of 19 places for Philip Horn. Not the sort of way he wants to finish the season. 5 misses in all. Olli Sirka down 10. Kiva of Estonia, better story, up 14, hitting 20 out of 20.
Not bad for a 21-year-old. That's twice this season he's hit 20 out of 20. The first time was in the individual, way up in Östersund at the start of the year.
And Matko with the worst shooting result of the day, the Slovakian, 7 misses, down in 51. But the story really was at the front. Laegreid just pipping Eric Perrot to take his 5th win in a row. Well, what a shame we've only got one day left, Mike. The season's just warming up. Well, the biathletes coming to the end of the season. The ski jumpers actually go on an extra week. They all finish next weekend, but this weekend is all about ski flying. Even the distance is absolutely astonishing, 230, 240 meters. I think we had 5 or 6 women jumping over 200 meters this morning. That is well worth a watch. Well, I don't think Perrot or Laegreid will forget that race for a long time, Mike.
And the fact that they've been so level last 3 weekends of racing. One will win one day, or Eric was winning in Kontiolahti, and then Laegreid has just put his best game forward since that moment.
Yeah, you might have seen on the World Cup points, Botten now just 4 points behind Samuelsson. So the Swede is under pressure again tomorrow in the mass start if he wants to finish in the top 3. Top 15 is vital in terms of finance for the team, but the top 15, Mike, is swamped by the French and the Norwegians. They don't need the money. They've got the money already. Surely they should distribute it a different way.
Spread it around. I'm with you. Although in fairness, the IBU is good to all the teams nowadays. The TV money's massive, and they do spread it around for development, for information, providing coaches. It's pretty good.
Well, credit to Laegreid, because he lost 5 or 6 seconds on each of the stand shoots. It took him about 150 meters to claw that back. He put in a sprint at the start of the last 3 laps, so he had a lot of work to do. Well, 5 wins in a row. I think the trauma of the Olympic Games is probably long forgotten for Laegreid. Let's have a look at the highlights. Mike, pick out your best bits.
Well, the intensity that Laegreid and Eric Perrot were always going to attack. They both said they're in top form. They both said they wanted to win. They said that yesterday. So it was like the best 2 biathletes at this particular time. And there weren't any flaws. First time in, perfect. And Jacqueline was staying with the pace in those earlier stages. And the pace was intense from the get-go. Botten was able to stay with the pace. Samuelsson blew his chance early by putting himself under pressure, missing 1. And it remained as 3 at the front, with the very, very much on ski form Ponsaloma chasing. Again, this time they came in together. Jacqueline missing 1. Perrot and Laegreid in prone shooting, almost shot for shot. That changed when it came to standing. And then Ponsaloma shot himself out of the chase by missing 2 targets. At the front, it was always intense, attacking up. Hellner back in, steepest climb on this course. And all the time, actually, Jacqueline on lap 3 of 5, closing a little. Eric Perrot now letting his fast, rapid-fire shooting gain that little 4.55 second advantage over, well, 4.8 this time, over Laegreid. Jacqueline still in the race, keeping his chance alive should they fail last time in. Botten a setback on the first of the stand shoots, and Ponsaloma really steady, keeping control this time, putting himself in for a chance, a slim chance of 3rd place. Jacqueline, having set some of the fastest early laps, was beginning to tire. Perrot went for the attacking shoot. It paid off. He hit all 5 out of 5. He gained himself another advantage of some 4.5 seconds, 5 seconds. Huge mental strength there for Laegreid to hold his nerve, to make sure he's still in the race at 4.5 behind. Jacqueline went for his showmanship shooting. You don't often see Jean-Pierre having a laugh at shooting, but he admires the fact that Jacqueline tried. From a long way out, Eric went wide to try and make a wide attack, but Laegreid was covering every single move. Laegreid knowing full well there was a slight advantage to lead into the home straight. And all the way to the line, it looked so level. It almost looked like Eric was coming back, and he was coming back so strong for the line. But in the end, they shared the same time. But Laegreid on the photo finish got it by half a boot. What a race.
Well, let's hope we hear from the winners. I think we might have Laegreid ready to go.
Congratulations. That was just a crazy competition today. Tell a little bit about the final leg, especially about the final stretch.
Yeah, I thought Erik, he seemed a bit tired on loop 3 and 4, so I thought I could decide the race in the beginning of loop 5, but he was at my back like a flea, and then I had to just, okay, get some more energy and then try to decide it in the big hill, and but he was still behind me, so yeah, I just gave it all in the sprint. I'm not really a sprinter, but today I believe, and then I am.
Actually, now you have your 5th win in a row. Only 3 athletes had it before: Martin, Ole, Einar, and Johannes. So how special it is, and what did you enjoy the most today?
Yeah, that's some legends that you are naming. So yeah, incredible just to be able to perform at this level time after time. I really no words to describe it. It's a really big thing for me now after maybe my toughest experience this winter before.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, it's an even more exclusive club if you can make it 6 out of 6 tomorrow, Mike. As he said, it's a group of legends: Martin Fourcade, Ole Einar Bjorndalen, and of course Johannes Tingesbø, now joined by Sturla Holm Laegreid as the only men who have won 5 World Cup races in succession. He didn't win by much, but it doesn't take much. Well, the retirements come thick and fast at this time of year. I'm in Oppenthaler, retiring from duties in the American coaching team, and 1 or 2 of the USA athletes calling it a day as well.
Yes, I think that's Paul Schomer calling it a day.
Well, here are the pursuit scores. Perrot has got his 4th Crystal Globe. He could make it 5 tomorrow. It's going to be a tough task because he is headed in the standings. We'll see how that works out. And yeah, brilliant season for him, Mike. He's all his childhood dreams have come true in the space of 4 months.
Yes, I think we identified that he would be one of the big legends. You know, when he came into World Cup racing at 19, 20-year-old, even from the get-go, he was included in the French relays, showing full well that he can handle pressure, and that's exactly what he's able to do 4 years later.
Yeah, so he will take 4. Laegreid, of course, took the sprint. Perrot has already sealed. He sealed the mass start in Contiolahti with a brilliant race there. So he's got 4 globes. The French, I guess they'll regret the fact that they didn't win the mixed relay title.
Yes, that was and that was really down to one man's error. It happens in any team scenario, but yes, they will feel the pain on that one.
But it's been a great season for the French Olympics. They were undoubtedly the most successful team, men and women.
Ladies and
just practicing for a few years. There's Talia Burr. I'm assuming it is Talia Junior. Yeah, there they are. Expanding family. But wow, he hasn't hung around.
And
only a year ago since they wore their golden capes, wasn't it? It feels longer.
And this is the reallocation of World Championship medals from 2011, 2013.
Dear Terje, you will soon get the bronze medal from the mass start 2011, and everything is due to this Russian doping scandal. So sorry for the delay in 15 years, but at the end, good governance, clean athletes will be on the top. And the advantage for you, Terje, now, that is that you can show your children and your wife that you got the medal, that you didn't have the possibility in 2011. So please, see you at the podium.
Okay. So the bronze medalist from the mass start 2011, please welcome
You would have thought after 15 years, Mike, he could stand on the top step, don't you think?
Yeah, I think Ole Dahlin was,
suggesting it.
And then Max Cobb alongside him. I'm so pleased, and I'm so pleased that Ole Dahlin said from the Russian doping scandal, it is a disgrace all these years it's taken to switch this around.
We saw some Olympic reallocations in Antolz at the Olympic Games. They've waited for the World Cup final to reallocate the World Championship.
And the future of Norwegian
Can I have it?
Yeah, why not? Dad has enough, I think.
And we will also hear from the winner of today is pursued in English, Sturla Holm Laegreid.
Congratulations. That was just a crazy competition today. Tell a little bit about the final, like especially about the final stretch.
Yeah, I thought Erik, he seemed to be tired on loop 3 and 4, so I thought I could decide the race in the beginning of loop 5, but he was...
Well, he's going to be trouble.
That was fun. I guess that was a World Championships medal, a bronze medal, wasn't it? Not the Olympic.
No, it was World Championship. And then, yeah, they were going to reallocate. I'm not sure if they're doing it today, but the team Nations Cup title went to Norway that season as a result as well. So I'm not sure whether that's going to be completed today or on the final day of the season. Let's have a chat with Emilia Jacquelin. Didn't quite come off today. He tried to put pressure on the two leaders, but two misses cost him his chance.
Raconte-nous un peu cette course. Tu fais une très belle course, mais devant c'était.
Tell us about the race.
Ouais, je m'y attendais hier à partir avec Eric et Sturla. Je me disais que ça allait être une
He
course
said he was
pleine.
expecting
Et
it to
même
be
en tirant
really
un 20 sur
hard
20,
to
la
stay with
victoire allait pas
Eric
être
and Sturla.
acquise, donc j'ai essayé de bien faire le travail.
He had
Pas
already
forcément
decided he
content de
needed
ce
20 out of
qui m'est
20,
aujourd'hui,
gave
même
it
si,
his
9
best.
sur 10, je sentais que ça manquait un
He's a
peu
bit
de
disappointed. He lost
tenue, on
time
va
on the
dire.
first prone
J'ai
and
fait
then
mieux ces
missed one
dernières
on the
semaines.
second prone, and he's not happy with
Sur
that.
le debout, elle a bien rattrapé sur le premier, mais malheureusement, vu que ça fait pas de faute devant, c'est dur de... Je crois que je reprends un peu de temps dans le 4e tour, mais tout seul, voilà, pas mal d'efforts mis.
Yeah, he said the first standing shoot was okay, but
parce que je vois que devant, ça fait le plein,
it was
ça
quite
tire
early
vite,
on
je me
that he
dis, bon, bah, allez, à
decided
mon
that
tour.
third place was going to
Avec
be
un
the
peu
best
de-
he
un peu
could
de marche
do.
sur la 4e place, donc voilà, une très belle course, mais à la fois, tu vois, le
Yeah,
fait
he
de
knew he
jouer
had
devant, j'aurais même
a gap to fourth
être à la
place
bataille avec eux,
as
mais
he did.
malheureusement, c'était pas, fallait être parfait aujourd'hui.
Merci, bravo.
Yeah, he said he was desperate to be up the front fighting for the win, but it needed perfection, and he didn't have it.
Achievement with conservation.
He's had a good season, though, in the pursuit, though, with his 2 second places and today a third. I mean, it's pretty high-end biathlon for Jacquelin.
Yeah, it's been a good finish to the season. Yeah, what's that? 3 seconds and a third in the last 4 races. What would you rate? His Olympics were pretty good, Mike. I mean, many people would feel he threw away gold medals, but he gave it everything. And there aren't many athletes that actually run out of fuel on the way round, but he generally ran out with about a kilometre to go.
I think that was what made it look less dramatic, or you could say more dramatic,
German Ski Federation.
when he faded so much at the end.
Thank you very much for your tremendous dedication to sport, your work with the Biathlon Integrity Unit, and we are so happy that you can present the medals today at your last World Cup competition as a executive board member. Thank you very much for your service to the sport.
Thank you very much.
Max Cobb on the mic there. Bit of action on the range already.
relaxed comps here and there, and I think he's done a great job since he became the Secretary General. He's always been on the executive board, well, for many, many years. Prior to that, he was the manager, the team leader of the American team for what, some 10 years, way back in the 90s.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the prize-giving ceremony for the BMW IBU World Cup Pursuit Men. Mine damer og herrer, velkommen til premieseremoni for BMW IBU Verdenscup Jaktstart Men. The medals are handed out by Frans Steine, Executive Board Member in IBU. Medaljene deles ut av Frans Steine, som styremedlem i det internasjonale skiskytterforbundet. And the presents are handed out by Karen Schneemann, Senior Sales Manager in Norson. Og gavene deles ut av Karen Schneemann, som sjefssalgsmanager i Norsan. In third place, from France. På tredjeplass, fra Frankrike,
Emilia Jacquelin, 7 podiums this season and highly likely now to finish in the top 5 of the World Cup rankings. 7 podiums, no wins. He's becoming the Heidi Weng of men's biathlon.
Maybe tomorrow, Patrick, if he gets all 20, the way he shoots, the way he's skiing, he has a chance.
But as he said, the level is so high that it needs perfection, and we saw perfection today.
From France, på andre plass, fra Frankrike, Perrot.
10 podiums for the season from 20 races, 50% of the time he's in the top 3. Doesn't quite match the 20 out of 21 that Martin Fourcade got in his prime, but it is good enough to win the overall this year. And a total of 4 crystal globes to take home to France. The sprint was taken by Laegreid.
Number 1 and winner from Norway. Nummer 1 og vinner fra Norge, Sturla Holm Laegreid.
Maximum points for Laegreid since the 8th of March, 450 out of a possible 450. And it's put him up into 2nd place in the World Cup rankings. 1 down from last year, but I think a month ago, Mike, no one thought he would finish 2nd.
So true. His early races were, by his high standard, poor. He didn't have the ski pace, and he only admitted recently that he was feeling the pressure as the favourite to win the overall, and he didn't allow himself to flow or relax. Felt the pressure.
Is that 9 or 10 podiums in succession?
Let's hear it for the podium. Sturla Holm Laegreid.
I think it's 9.
An unforgettable race today with a photo finish to decide it. The crowd won't have known. Laegreid, he was far enough ahead to know exactly
In 4th place,
that he was ahead.
På 4. plass, fra Sverige,
Martin Ponsiluoma, who's had a much more consistent season than we've ever seen. Better shooting, solid skiing as ever. And a great end to his year, 4th to 4th positions for him. Botten Mike, who's now on the verge, he could finish in the top 3 if he can overtake Samuelsson tomorrow. And Christiansen, after missing on the first shoot, hardly got a mention all day. 3 misses in all, 2:18 behind. One of the quickest on the tracks.
Yeah, just thinking Botten for tomorrow. He only missed 1 today. Potential to hit 20 tomorrow, but is he shooting fast enough? Probably not to win.
Yeah, Ponsiluoma 3 penalty loops and still finishing in 4th. So if he can hit 18 out of 20 or 19 tomorrow, Maybe he will be the man who stops this run of success for Sturla Holm Laegreid.
And I think at the Olympics, Patrick, when Ponsaloma took that gold medal from 7th position, it was so unexpected.
Now we're definitely going to have the pursuit trophy handed out now. Trying to think, have we done the men's relay yet, Mike? I'm not sure we have.
Don't think we have. That could be coming up next. Well, I haven't seen the athletes gathering.
Yeah, well, there are 2 globes there.
Yep.
We've done the mixed relay. We've done the women's relay. I'm assuming we're going to do the pursuit and the men's relay score for this year. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was a 3-way fight at the top. That's quite a long time now, Mike. It's just been France and Norway contending for the major prizes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, since the Russians were, well, 4 years ago, were not allowed to start, that has made it just 2 strong nations.
Yeah, if we could combine Italy and Sweden, that would be a strong nation. Switaly.
2026 og vinner av jaktstartcupen 2025-2026 fra Frankrike, Perrot.
He wrapped up the overall yesterday. He got the individual up in Kontiolahti 2 weeks ago. The mass start was tied up in Finland as well, and today he holds off Seb Samuelsson to win the Pursuit World Cup title. When you've got a few, you can afford to throw them around a bit. Amazing season, and he's still a young man. He's only 24 from AIM. He'll have a few fans watching from there. The Olympics, well, he got the silver medal in the individual, but he did get 2 golds in the mixed relay and the relay. So the Olympics were not bad. Only finished 20th in the mass start in the Olympics. He doesn't want that to happen tomorrow. Actually, it doesn't matter where he finishes tomorrow, Mike.
No, and you know, we saw Jean Monod enjoying her racing. She looked very relaxed. Yes, she missed one earlier today, but just enjoying it. She's really achieved everything she set out to.
A load of youngsters in the background just training. It's quite possible they'll have a kids race this evening once all the formalities are completed.
Yes, you mentioned earlier the 20th position at the Olympics. That was by far and away his worst result, missing 7 at the Olympics. He said he was tired, the mindset wasn't there, and his mindset is everything, the computer that drives his perfection. Must be Christensen.
Well, Ziggy Mazet, if he does go on and take over the French coaching, Mike, it's quite hard to take over a team that are already winning.
Must be very difficult. It's a position where, you know, their shooting is so fast, it's mostly so accurate. The French boys today did incredibly well, probably as a team the best in terms of shooting. So it's a tough task. How do you make them better? They're shooting on the limit for me of speed and accuracy before you start missing. But he's the man who can give them, you know, a good team feeling. He keeps it sharp, he keeps it disciplined.
So the Norwegian team out to collect the relay.
And the globes are handed out
Globe.
by the president of the IBU, Mr. Ole Dahlin.
Oeberg and Mazet seated at the front.
And I think it's safe to say, since Oeberg and of course Mazet came in, the team were slightly looser. They've brought it together. They've made both the men and the women the strongest they've been, actually.
Well, the French are still in good voice, and we have just one day of the season to go. Do join us tomorrow. The last mass starts of the season. Women first in the morning, and then the men 12:30. The women's will be on air for that, and then 12:45 the start time. And they've been pretty punctual here in Oslo. 3:15 on air for the men's mass start, the last race of the 25-26 season. Do not miss it. If it's anything like today's racing, it'll be one worth talking about. We'll see you then. Goodbye for now.